In 2007, Lionel Messi was only 20 years old and already becoming Barcelona's brightest star. During a UNICEF charity photo shoot, he was asked to pose with a baby he had never met. Messi smiled, gently held the little boy, and helped bathe him for the camera. No one at that moment could have imagined that the baby in Messi's arms would one day become one of football's biggest young stars. That baby was Lamine Yamal. The photos stayed hidden for years until they resurfaced and went viral, stunning football fans around the world. People.com 1. As Lamine grew older, he joined Barcelona's famous La Masia Academy, the same place where Messi had become a legend. Coaches quickly realized they were watching a special talent. His dribbling, confidence, and creativity amazed everyone, but Lamine never wanted to copy Messi. He wanted to create his own legacy. Still, fans couldn't stop making comparisons. Every magical touch reminded them of the Argentine legend. The story that had started with one innocent photograph was beginning to feel like destiny. As the years passed, Lamine Yamal became one of the brightest talents to emerge from Barcelona's famous La Masia Academy. At just 15 years old, coaches were already calling him a once-in-a-generation player. His speed, fearless dribbling, and unbelievable vision reminded fans of a young Lionel Messi. Soon, the football world couldn't stop talking about him. Every match brought another record. He became one of Barcelona's youngest debutants, and quickly proved he belonged on the biggest stage. Supporters packed stadiums just to watch the teenager perform magic with the ball. But with fame came pressure. Everywhere he went, people called him the next Messi. Reporters asked the same question over and over. Could anyone ever replace the greatest player in Barcelona's history? Instead of chasing comparisons, Lamine stayed humble. He focused on improving every day, listening to his coaches, and working harder than ever. Behind the scenes, Messi was following his progress with admiration. He praised Yamal's talent, but reminded everyone that football should let the young star grow without impossible expectations. Messi believed Lamine deserved to build his own identity, not live in someone else's shadow. Fox Sports 1. The connection between the two felt almost magical. One had built the legend of Barcelona, while the other was beginning to write the club's next chapter. As Lamine Yamal continued breaking records, the football world waited for one opinion above all others: Lionel Messi's. When Messi was finally asked about Barcelona's teenage sensation, his answer surprised millions of fans. Instead of avoiding the comparison, he praised the young star with incredible respect. Messi said there were many talented young players, but if he had to choose one with the brightest future, it would be Lamine Yamal. He added that Lamine was already proving himself and had everything needed to become one of football's greatest players. ESPN 1. The compliment spread across social media within minutes. Headlines around the world called it the greatest praise a young footballer could receive. Fans saw it as the moment when one Barcelona legend acknowledged the club's next great talent. But Lamine's response showed his maturity. He thanked Messi for the kind words, yet made one thing clear. He didn't want to become the next Messi. He wanted fans to remember only one name: **** Lamine Yamal****. He respected the greatest player in football history, but his dream was to create a legacy that belonged only to him. Men's Journal 2. From that day on, the story was no longer about replacing Messi. It became a story about a young boy writing his own history while carrying the inspiration of a legend. The football world could hardly believe it. The little boy once held in Lionel Messi's arms had become one of the biggest stars in the game. Every time Lamine Yamal stepped onto the pitch wearing Barcelona's famous colors, fans remembered that unforgettable photo from 2007. It no longer looked like an ordinary charity picture. It felt like destiny. Before facing Spain in a major international final, Messi spoke warmly about the young winger. He called Lamine one of the best players in the world, said he always wished him success because his growth was also good for Barcelona, and admitted that seeing the old baby photo alongside the present moment was incredible. At the same time, Messi smiled and said that once the match began, Argentina would do everything possible to stop him. Mundo Deportivo 1. For Lamine, hearing those words from his childhood hero meant everything. He knew that respect from the greatest player in football was worth more than any headline. As the stadium lights shined and millions of fans watched around the world, the moment everyone had dreamed about was finally here. The legend and the Wonder Kid were no longer connected only by a photograph. They were about to share the biggest stage in football. The final whistle echoed across the stadium, and millions of fans stood in silence before erupting into applause. It wasn't just the end of a match. It felt like the end of one football era and the beginning of another. Lionel Messi walked slowly across the pitch, proud despite the defeat. In front of him stood Lamine Yamal, the young player who had once been the baby in his arms. The two embraced in a moment that instantly became one of football's most unforgettable images. According to reports after the match, Messi congratulated Lamine and encouraged him to keep working hard, telling him that the future belongs to your generation. For Lamine, those words meant more than any medal or trophy. The son won. Later, Lamine spoke with deep respect about his childhood idol. He said Messi would always be the greatest player of all time, and that sharing the pitch with him was a dream he never imagined would come true. Instagram 2. From one unforgettable photograph in 2007 to meeting on football's biggest stage, their journey inspired millions around the world. It wasn't a story about replacing a legend. It was a story about one legend inspiring the next generation. The end. Months after their unforgettable meeting, fans were still talking about the incredible journey that connected Lionel Messi and Lamine Yamal. The famous 2007 photo was no longer just a picture. It had become a symbol of football's past, present, and future. Millions called it the moment two generations met before anyone knew it. People.com 1. Lamine continued to improve with every match, but he never forgot the advice Messi had given him. Instead of trying to copy the greatest player in history, he focused on becoming the best version of himself. When asked once again about Messi, Lamine smiled and said that Messi would always be his idol and the greatest footballer of all time. He hoped to make his own history while honoring the player who inspired him to dream. Instagram 2. As for Messi, he had already achieved everything a footballer could dream of. Yet one of his greatest legacies was not another trophy. It was inspiring a new generation led by players like Lamine Yamal. One legend built the path. One young star continued the journey. And football fans around the world realized that greatness is never replaced. It simply inspires the next generation. The end.